Week 20 of the 2025-26 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back NBA Week in Review Heat Edition. I'm Eric Labrador at thepeachbasket.net covering the Miami Heat. This is the show where we recap the week that was in the NBA and then highlight the marquee matchup for the week to come for the Miami Heat. In Week 20, Miami won both games against Brooklyn and beat Charlotte. Charlotte was a big game. The Heat and Hornets were fighting tooth and nail until the fourth quarter. The key sequence was in the fourth quarter when Bam hit a jumper to tie the score at 108. One of the Hornets stars, Ryan Cockburner, missed the layup, got his own rebound, and tried to lay it up again, but Kel'el Ware blocked the shot. Drew Smith on the next possession tried to score. Cockburner blocked the shot, but the Heat got it, the offensive rebound, and Tyler Herro hit a three-pointer. Then Kel'el Ware hit an alley-oop dunk to put the Heat up 103 to 108. Knippel had a scoring chance on the next possession, and Kel'el Ware blocked the shot. The Hornets got the offensive rebound. LaMelo Ball missed a three, and then they got a 24-second violation. The Heat showed mental toughness throughout in order to win the game. And they're going to need that because they're going to have to play Charlotte one more time in Charlotte. The Brooklyn 2-game set was expected, but it was a healthy scrimmage. The Heat showed mental toughness here also because they didn't let any quirks happen where they relented a little bit and then one of the Nets players had a career night. Tuesday night they beat Brooklyn 124 to 98. Bam, Herro, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. scored 65 combined points. Then Thursday, they beat them again, 126 to 110. Bam, Herro, and Jaquez scored 52 combined points. And it rolls into the power ranking segment. We start with the only objective top 10 NBA power rankings anywhere. You can read about how we get to these rankings and see the entire list at thepeachbasket.net. The Heat move up one spot to 6 and 13. It's going to be tough catching the top three teams in the power rankings: Detroit, Celtics, the Knicks, the Raptors. But we'll see what we can do this week. In the standout stats segment, in addition to Bam, Herro, and Jaquez and their performances, Kel'el Ware had what I like to call a full, healthy calorie binge of power foods, not empty calories in terms of his stat line. The young man tied Bam in total rebounds, but led in offensive rebounds, blocks, and steals. The guy played not like he was supposed to play. He has been putting good days together. In his second year, he's going to have a lot of ups and downs. He's got more ups than downs lately. Tyler Herro had a healthy week of attendance and led in points, threes made, field goals attempted, assists, and game score, which is a player efficiency rating minus pace in terms of his stat line. And then Bam Adebayo solidly contributing week in and week out. He tied Herro in field goals made, led in total rebounds, and defensive rebounds. Heading to our marquee matchup segment. The Heat level up in competition in play this week, starting with Detroit at the Kaseya Center at 6 p.m. tonight. The Heat have all their games at home. They play Washington on Tuesday, Milwaukee on Thursday, and Orlando on Saturday. The Heat need to secure the Washington game without a doubt. They need to win that game. The Detroit game, we'll mention a little bit later, it is a toss-up. Orlando has dominated the Heat this year. That's going to be an important game to win. And Milwaukee is a get-back game where the Heat a couple of weeks ago went up to Milwaukee, had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and then lost. Spoiler alert for Milwaukee in the scouting report, they're going to exploit matchups. So the Heat need to take advantage of that. The good thing is Norman Powell is injured. That was the biggest matchup problem because him together with Tyler Herro were getting exploited by the Bucks. So heading to our viral pressure AI segment, the AI says that the Heat have a scheduling advantage over the Magic and Raptors to try and secure the sixth seed or above. The combination of Heat's opponents have a record of 492, where the Raptors and the Magic, their combined opponents remaining, have a winning percentage of 500. So it's about the same. AI says that the Heat will need between 44 and 45 wins, so it figures around 9-9 in the last 18. The Heat need a lot of help there because they have two games left against Toronto. They're 0-2 so far in the season series, and the Magic have dominated them completely. They've actually playing 5 games in the season series, and the Magic have won 4. So the Magic have dominated the Heat big time this year. AI says that there's in the winnable games, one includes playing Detroit tonight. It cites the 3-game losing streak of the Pistons heading into today, but Detroit is still Detroit. They play very well. They've been having a great season. That's going to be, but the Heat are at home. They have a chance to do well, but it's going to be a tough game against Detroit. They're definitely leveling up. Other winnable games, 2 that they have left against Washington, at Charlotte again, and home to San Antonio. Now, this is where the Heat need to show their mental toughness. You think, well, they have 2 against Washington, it should be easy. No, they need to definitely show mental toughness and not take for granted the fact that Washington, any of those players can have a good night. So they need to be ready to make sure that they win that game without a doubt. At Charlotte again, Con Canepo, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, without a doubt, those guys are ready to play and they will want to make up for the loss that they had the other night. At Charlotte is going to be tough because Charlotte wants to make the playoffs. They have the players this year. The fans were rabid the other night in Charlotte, so they're geeked up for it. That's not going to be a given. And then home to San Antonio. Depending on if Victor Wembanyama plays, San Antonio's a good team. They're second ranked in the West, but they do have the game at the Kaseya Center. Swing games that AI puts are versus Orlando, Philly. Those 2 games are this week at the Kaseya Center, and then April 7th and 9th versus Toronto. The Heat have competed and played themselves into a position this week where conceivably it can tip the scales on how they're going to do in the playoffs. They're leveling up against competition. Kel'el Ware is starting to put good days together, and more, Coach Spoelstra has put Bam and Kel'el on the floor at the same time. That was a problem in the beginning and middle of the season. But where the rubber meets the road is that they have to, as Coach Spoelstra puts it, make their intention known once they get into the arena, getting prepared, putting their gear on, in shoot around, that they're going to have a good game. This is the proving ground for the Heat. The good thing was they had a nice little scrimmage against Brooklyn. They played well against Charlotte, but now this is different. So the game against Orlando and the game against Philly, very important games to win. It is a toss-up. And then the last 2 games versus Toronto. Scotty Barnes and his crew, the Heat, always have uneven games against Orlando year after year. It would be great to beat Toronto 2 times and secure those 45 and 46 wins. You would really like to see that happen. And for the Heat, for the young guys, the young players in the Heat, the rookies, the second-year players, and then the older guys, to get this milestone and go into the playoffs, which would be like the next stage in the video game. If you were to make the regular season be a video game, the next stage would be for this team the playoffs. But right now is their playoffs. They need to win the majority of the games. I'm not going to say win them all, but win the majority of the games. Very important. So that's it. That's the end of week 20. We have a lot of enthusiasm heading into it, and I'll be here when week 21 is over, and we'll run it back and we'll see what happened. Have a good day, everybody.